Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hip Horse. Tommy D along with Johnnie Lowe. What a Kentucky Derby 148. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Johnnie, how are we doing today?
We're doing well. Fresh off the Kentucky Derby, about a week out now. We're halfway to the Preakness and looking forward to the next two races of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, we're going to recap the Kentucky Derby in just one moment here. Before we get into that, we had our Kentucky Derby contest, everybody, and nobody had Rich Strike, Bleav it or not. You know, I do actually believe it, Johnnie, but, you know, we had four people there, four contestants that were all in the mix here. So let's get to the names here. James Newberry, one of our regular subscribers. Congrats, James. Ron 50 2008. James Panchua down in Cholula. I'm not sure if I'm saying that, buddy, but that's in the mix. And Joe Lloyd. So we have four of you. We're going to draw names out of the hat right now for the winner of the contest. Johnnie, what do you say?
Let's do it.
I'm going to let Johnnie be the pick here. I'm going to let him be the drawer here. We got in the San Diego Padre hat.
I'm not looking. I have no idea who I'm picking, just to let you guys know.
Good luck, everybody. Thanks for playing in the contest. We appreciate you.
Ron 50 2008. You're the winner of the $50 Amazon gift card. Congratulations.
There we go, Ron. So what I need from you is you shoot me an email at teamhiphorse@gmail.com. Follow up with me. We'll get your address and we'll send that gift card out to you. Thanks, everybody, for following in that contest. We're going to do another Preakness contest, another $50 Amazon card. We had a lot of you playing. Hopefully to get some more people in the mix here. We want to get somebody to nail it on the head all three in a row. Might be a little bit easier, less runners, Johnnie. So that's the Hip Horse contest. We appreciate everybody. You have to be a subscriber to be part of this contest. Also, throw a like and share with your friends. Get your friends in on the mix, Johnnie. Contest free for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was great. I'm sure Ron 50 2008 is going to be happy with his participation in the contest, and we'll probably put that out on our top three video. We'll throw it out there again next week for you.
There we go. Thanks for joining us. We are going to recap the Kentucky Derby 148. And everybody, if you haven't watched it, wow, what an exciting race. Johnnie, how are we doing, my man? And what do you think about this Kentucky Derby?
We're doing really well. Obviously, we're about halfway between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. Had a little bit of time to digest it. The Kentucky Derby this year was pretty good for people that were outside of fans of horse racing. It made national news that the horse paid $163, and all these stories about how he was a maiden claimer and this and that. From a student of the game standpoint, shocked. I mean, when was the last time you saw a horse that was a maiden claimer that didn't win any other races since then win a race like this? I mean, it's just something I don't think we've really ever seen before. Yeah,
what Johnny's talking about, this horse was actually up for $30,000 and somebody scooped him up. Eric Reed took over the training there and got the win in the Kentucky Derby. Didn't come in the race, got in on Friday, Johnnie. So it wasn't even in on our video because we didn't even think he was going to be in the race at the time.
I wouldn't pick that horse. I would have stayed away from that horse, just so everybody knows. We aren't Monday morning quarterbacks here. We wouldn't have had Rich Strike, okay? He couldn't win on any of the races before the Derby.
Hey, unbelievable.
Sometimes it happens.
Hey, there's miracles, and that's why we love the game, Johnnie. And if you're new to the game, that's why it's awesome. You find that long shot, even if you took a shot and you like the name, guess what? You got paid, and it makes you a student in the game. But there's ways to figure this out and to advance. Let's talk a little bit about Rich Strike before we talk a little bit about the Preakness, our next race that we're going to move forward. Let's recap that race first. Let's take a look at the Kentucky Derby. Your thoughts and how you thought the race played out, and how Rich Strike was able to make that late closing move.
After watching it a few times, we couldn't have predicted, well, I guess some people could, that Summers tomorrow was going to set 21-second first quarter mile with Crown Pride right behind him. The fact that those two horses came over from that Dubai race and set the pace, which I don't think we've really ever seen anything like that before, and they went so fast. They just scorched up front, and it was I want to say fastest half mile in Kentucky Derby history. Anybody that was within the top 7 of the pace finished in the bottom 10. So it cooked every one of those horses. Epicenter was the closest horse to them. He was in 8th. He was still a couple of lengths back. I think if he would have been even further back, he probably would have had enough to win the race. I will say I was a little surprised that Rich Strike was the only horse that made that big closing move. After that hot pace, I thought some of the horses had a little bit more class and probably would have been able to close a little better. But hey, I mean, it's that big son of Keen Ice. He's got that curling blood in him. I don't know. Maybe that was what got him across the line. Very hard to take away from this race. It's hard to judge how good effort Epicenter and Zandone had. How bad of an effort did some of the other horses throw in? How much that pace really affected the race? I think it was a total crapshoot once you got to about the 3/4 mile point of who had anything in the tank and what they were going to run. Although Rich Strike did run that last quarter in 25 seconds, the quarter before was 26. So he ran a faster last quarter than they did the quarter to get to the mile.
Yeah, I mean, great job by the jockey there, weaving, get around on the inside and just make that late move. I'm not sure Epicenter saw, this colt coming on the inside or not. Didn't have enough to hold him off, but Epicenter, Zandone, great race, and also Simplification. Had Epicenter and Simplification both in the top 5, so nice work there, Johnny. Rich Strike came out of nowhere. Like I said, this is what makes horse racing great, and the value, a way to make money. I mean, you tell me a place where you could put $2 on a horse and make that much money, Johnny, a return on your money. Doesn't happen every day, but hey, we saw it happen on Kentucky Derby, the biggest day of the year. And you know what's great for the game, Johnny? You go back and watch this. There's actually more people that went back to watch the replay that actually watched the Kentucky Derby. So if you're new to the game and you're coming in, welcome to the Hip Horse, everybody. Hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell. You're watching us on YouTube and listening to us on the Bleav network, everybody. All right, Johnny, Rich Strike, let's talk about this real quick before we move in a little bit more. The pedigree. What did you see in the pedigree, maybe, that, the ability for Rich Strike to win this race?
So I'm not sure what the limit is on inbreeding with a horse, but he's got to be getting really close. So he's by Keen Ice, who's by Curlin, who's by Smart Strike. So his great-grandfather is Smart Strike from his dad's side. His mother is by Smart Strike. It's the same vein. It's almost a point where his mom and dad's father are the same. I think for me that might be like a step too far from what I would really like to see in there. But his broodmare Gold Strike, she did win $564,000, which that's pretty nice. She's bold print black type. And he's a 9 fem line, which I think the 9 fem line is really nice. We'll get into Secret Oath in a minute, and I'll bring that up again. But for me, when I look at this pedigree, I do like the stallion line with the Keen Ice, Curlin, Smart Strike. But the bottom side being so inbred, for me, I don't think I would have taken a shot on this horse. I wouldn't have bred the horse myself, but I wouldn't have taken a shot betting him going that distance.
Wow, yeah, I mean, unbelievable getting the win there. I mean, I'm going to ask you my next question. I think you might have just answered there. Rich Strike deciding to skip the Preakness. Do you think Rich Strike had any chance to win the Preakness if he was in the race?
It looks like the field's not going to be that wild. If he runs back to what he ran in the Kentucky Derby, which he would need a fast pace, I think, and some other things, but he was aggressive there. Who knows? The one thing he does have in common is Mind That Bird, when he won the Kentucky Derby, he was actually out of a Smart Strike broodmare, which is kind of interesting, and he was inbred to the Mr. Prospector line on top. He came back and he lost to Rachel Alexandra in the Preakness, but he ran back almost the same race that he did in the Kentucky Derby, which was really impressive. So I don't know, maybe the horse would have had a shot coming back against basically the same group of horses, minus a lot of them, add in a couple horses that haven't been running the same kind of class races. Who knows? I think he might have.
Yeah, and Rich Strike, I mean, what do you think? Not the Preakness. Do you think we see him in the Belmont? Your thoughts? Or do you think is this one we need to pay attention to moving forward?
You know what? I think they're going to try the luck in the Belmont. They're probably thinking, hey, the Preakness is kind of tight turns, speedy track. We're coming from the back. Belmont, well, we got a whole mile and a half. The horses he's going to close. I don't know. This could have been a firecracker. Just a total cesspool of things had to happen for him to get there. I feel like if he goes a mile and a half, he's probably not going to have the same kick that he had at the shorter race at the mile and a quarter. But we don't know. We're going to have to see what the Belmont field looks like.
Yeah, Connections deciding to skip the Preakness, guys, as of right now. I know the Preakness calling them up, trying to get Rich Strike in the mix there, but, trainer deciding to skip here, and the owner, and that's what they're going to do with Rich Strike. All right, that's enough for Rich Strike, guys. Let's move on to the Preakness. Let's take a quick little preview of the Preakness. I got a couple questions for you, Johnny. The first thing I want to talk about in the Preakness is a secret oath. We got a nice little filly from the coach, Dwayne Lucas, to take on the boys here. It looks like could be the top contender coming in here in the mix. Your thoughts here on Secret Oath?
So Secret Oath is interesting because she has a lot in common with Rich Strike, actually. So Secret Oath is by Arrogate, who's by Unbridled Song, who's by Unbridled, who's by Fabiano. Okay, so that's the father line right there. Fabiano is the Mr. Prospector line. Same, he's by Mr. Prospector. Same thing as Smart Strike. Okay, then when we go on the bottom, she's out of Absinthe Minded, who's by Quiet American, who's by Fabiano. So she has the same inbreeding, how would you say, structure is Rich Strike, but her sire lines have different veins. So they're different veins. His are the same. They're both Smart Strike right there. Her sire lines are both the Fabiano veins, but they're moved out a little bit. So she's got Unbridled and Quiet American, which adds a little bit of cushion there, but not a whole lot. And she's a 9F fem line. He's the 9 fem line. She's the 9F fem line. So it's actually really interesting that they both have such a similar breeding structure, and they both came from off the pace. I think at one point she was an 8th, and they mowed down the speed in the front of the race. I think she moves forward off that Kentucky Oaks race, and I think that race was actually a better quality race than the Kentucky Derby ended up becoming because of the pace factor.
Yeah, the Oaks looked wide open, and Secret Oath able to win it by 2 lengths. Pretty impressive. Coach Dwayne Lucas also said that Secret Oath came out of the race really nice, which is you love to hear. Dwayne Lucas has won the Preakness 6 times. Johnny, Oxbow, Charismatic, Timber Country, Tabasco Cat, Tanks Prospect, and Codex, all the way back in 1980. He's been traded since 1968 quarter horses. He's 86 years old, Johnny. If anybody knows what they're doing, it's got to be Dwayne Lucas. And it looks pretty impressive here. We also had Swiss Skydiver beat the boys in 2020, and then Rachel Alexander, who you mentioned, did it in 2009 for Steve Asmussen. So the fillies, those are the last 2 to do it in the 21st century. I like Secret Oath. I think a really solid chance, a lot of high hopes. But my question would be that third in the Arkansas Derby, it did lose to Cyberknife and Barber Road, came back in the Oaks. Do you think it has another race to shoot after that to perform even better to take on the boys?
I think the race in the Arkansas Derby wasn't her best race. She gave a really good effort. I think if they ran that race again, there's a good chance that she could probably beat the boys. I think that was a nice calculated move. I was really happy actually to see the Connections take the shot there. A lot of people are a little bit afraid to do it. We never saw Songbird run against the boys. I think there's just some things that I would like to see. It's when they let Beholder run the Pacific Classic and she ran off. I think they don't give the fillies as much credit, and sometimes their speed numbers aren't as high as the boys. But the talent is there, and Zenyatta showed that in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I'm glad to see him taking the shot in the Preakness. I think this is a nice race for her. I think there's a little bit of speed. We don't really know the whole field at this point, but it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I don't think it's going to be as fast as a pace as the Kentucky Derby was, and she might have to look Epicenter in the eye and see who's faster down the lane.
Yeah, Secret Oath looks to be a real contender here in the Preakness, Johnny. Love to see it compete here. Dwayne Lucas going to take another shot at 86 years old. Gotta love it, the Preakness here. We're shooting this probably about 9 days before the Preakness is going off here, guys. So we're guessing at who's going to be in the field as of right now. As of right now, Johnny, Epicenter seems to be the colt that's going to be the favorite in the Preakness, which it probably deserves to be here. What are your thoughts about Epicenter? Do you think this colt will have enough in its tank after that battle in the Derby?
I don't see why he wouldn't. I can't. I mean, although he has run 1 mile and 3/16 and followed that up with 1 1/4 miles in his last 2 races, which could be taxing. I could definitely see that. He sat just far enough off the pace to where he had a little bit in the tank to run down the stretch in the Kentucky Derby. Horses that have come out of the Kentucky Derby have done pretty well in the Preakness, though. So I would say that's on his side, and he does have a pretty nice pedigree build. We went over that when we were talking about the Kentucky Derby, although we thought that Simplification, who's by the same sire out of a Candy Ride Broodmare as well, had a little bit more foundation on the fem line. So it will be interesting to see if he can close the gap. And there's an Invader coming in that I think is going to be really sharp. He also shares the 9 fem line in common with Rich Strike and Secret Oath. It's actually the 9B fem line, who he comes from, and that's early voting. He's by Gunrunner out of Amour de Etat, and the second broodmare on the fem line, Silken Cat, dropped IRAP and Spitestown, so he's got plenty of class, and he should be a formidable opponent coming into the race.
Yeah, strong connections for early voting, so might be a new shooter to pay attention to, Johnny. As we're talking the Preakness 2020-22, we're talking on the Bleav Network and YouTube. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Hit that like, subscribe, follow us, share us with your friends. Following the hot 3-year-old run here, we're on the second trail of the Triple Crown. Rich Strike is going to be passing in the Preakness. The Preakness is the oldest race ever, Johnny. Did you know that? 1873.
Wow.
Older than the Derby. Mile and 3/16. It's going to be down at Pimlico, down in Baltimore. Yellow flowers to the winner. Can't wait to watch it, Johnny. Got a lot of contenders in the Preakness. Any other ones you want to talk about? We will be putting out our top 5 video next week, guys, so make sure you ring that bell, get notifications when our new video comes out. Your thoughts on any other new shooters besides early voting?
Yeah, so we've got they're thinking about Rattle and Roll, and he's been kind of a mid-pack horse in a lot of these prep races. He was the one that was next in line if Rich Strike didn't get in the race. He's got a nice little pedigree. It's something we might be talking about. And then Saffie Joseph, I think, is bringing in Skippy Longstockings, and there's a couple other contenders. As of right now, I've seen probably up to 9 that are possible from the race. I think that the horses from the Derby should do pretty well, and I think that maybe one of the new contenders, possibly 2, depending on how who gets in and how the race sets up, we might be looking at them as well.
Yeah, good stuff. Preakness 2020-22. Hard to say there, a little mouthful, guys, but thanks for joining us on the Bleav Network and YouTube. Johnny Lowe, Tommy D. We will catch you next time. Top 5 coming out next week, so stay tuned, everybody. Good luck, and we'll catch you next week.